Greetings friends, it's Victor here and welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about how to get great results in the gym. But before we get started, please do go ahead and click the like button and the subscribe button. I would appreciate it very much. Thanks. Before diving into specifics about working out and eating and all of that stuff specifically, I do want to put forth this little disclaimer right here at the beginning, just in terms of toxic diet culture, toxic exercising culture. I think that there's a lot of that out there in the world in general, but I think there's also a lot of that in the trans community. And so I just want to acknowledge that that exists. I think that there is a lot of judgment that potentially happens and a lot of self-judgment that we often impose on ourselves as well. And so I don't know who needs to hear this right now, but I just want to say that I personally don't believe that we should ever judge our bodies based on what they look like, how much weight they can lift, how far they can run, like what pant size we wear, how much our bodies weigh on the scale, what types of things we eat. I don't think we should judge ourselves based on that at all. Rather, I think that health is very, in some ways, subjective and is different for every person. So health for me might look very different than health looks for you. So there is no one ideal lifestyle or type of diet or exercise routine or physique that comes together to make the ideal image of health, because that ideal image of health just simply doesn't exist because it is different for every person. Personally, I think that we should judge our bodies based on what they can do relative to what they need to do. So for example, if you're someone who aspires to be an Olympic athlete and is that is what you need to do with your life, and you're out there working your butt off every single day working out, and you're able to, get to a spot where, your 5K time is less than 20 minutes or things like that, where you're a competitive athlete, then that's awesome. But if you're someone where the most that you physically need to do with your life is carry your jug of milk up one flight of stairs to your apartment, and you can do that, then that's awesome. So again, it's all about what you need to be able to do with your body versus what you can actually do with your body. So if you can do what you need to do, then you're a-okay. Now, of course, physical disabilities and injuries and that sort of thing, those all play into this as well. And so that doesn't mean that someone who is physically disabled and, for example, might not be able to walk up a flight of stairs, that doesn't at all mean that they are deficient in any way when it comes to, physical health and well-being. However, in this video, I'm going to assume able-bodiedness, and I apologize for whatever fundamental ableism there is in that assumption, but that is my only experience with my physical body, and so that is kind of what this is going to be geared towards. This video is also geared towards people who are attempting to work out for the purposes of visual aesthetics or for the purposes of trying to look potentially more masculine or have certain visual goals in mind. Alright, so let's talk about getting good results at the gym. There are 4 main topics that I want to talk about here. The first 2 are food and rest, and the second 2 have to do specifically with how we work out. So, with that, let's start with food. I cannot stress this enough. You must eat, and you must eat enough. If you are not eating enough, then no amount of working out, of running, of lifting weights is going to help you be a healthier person and help you maybe get the size up top that you want when you're going about your workout routine. So you have to eat, and you have to eat enough. There are a wide variety of calculators online that can help you figure out, based on your activity level and your body weight, how much food you should be consuming to be able to maintain your body weight. Make sure you find a good calculator that's not going to skew it low for the purposes of dieting or whatever. We do not want to calorie restrict diet. That is just generally not something that is going to help you increase the size of your muscles or be a healthier person. That's not to say that that can't work for some people and that that's not the healthy option for some people, but I think in general, we are much more obsessed with restricting calorie counts rather than actually striving for what health looks like for our individual bodies. And so I would really, really encourage you to take a very critical eye towards anything that's telling you you need to eat less food, because often that's not the case. Now, along with eating enough food comes eating enough protein. Protein is super important for building muscles, so if you're trying to increase the size or the definition of your muscles, you need to be eating enough protein in order to allow your body to actually build out those muscles whenever you're working them. A general rule of thumb is 0.8 grams per kilo of body weight for people who are not lifting weights. For people that are lifting weights, 1.2 to 1.7 grams of protein per kilo of body weight is a good range to aim for. For example, I currently try to get in at least 80 to 100 grams of protein every single day, even on the days that I am not lifting weights, just because my body needs that baseline amount of protein in order to be able to maintain the muscles that are going on, as well as build them out every time I am tearing them as I am actually performing my lifts. Also, when I say tearing muscles, I don't mean like a muscle tear like the sports injury type. I mean the micro fractures that happen as you're lifting weights that actually allow your muscles to become bigger and stronger. Okay, so that's point number 1. Make sure that you eat enough and that you eat enough protein. Point number 2 is rest. You must prioritize rest. Rest comes in 2 forms: sleep and time between workouts. So you must make sure that you're getting enough sleep such that your body has the ability to actually perform the things you are asking it to do in the gym. Sleep is so important for our health, for our brains, for the rest of our bodies. It's such a necessary and fundamental biological function that if you're cutting down on the amount of sleep that you're getting to an unhealthy extent, you are going to see detrimental impacts to your workout plan and to your physical health. Second form of rest we're talking about is time between workouts. Now, if you have a lot of time on your hands and you're all gung-ho about this new workout plan that you have going on, you might be very tempted to go out to the gym and be doing the same workout every single day or twice a day. That is not going to be good for you. Your muscles need time between when you're pushing them and when you're performing your heavy lifts. It needs time between that and the next time you do that in order to be able to rebuild and repair those muscles to make them bigger and stronger. A good rule of thumb is to take at least 1 day off between any 2 of the same lift. So for example, if I do an upper body and arm and chest day on Monday, I'm going to take Tuesday off, and the earliest time I can do that same workout again is Wednesday. Realistically speaking, I might not do it Monday and Wednesday. I might do it Monday and Friday, or Monday and Saturday, or Monday and Thursday, right? Now, when it comes to doing these different workouts, you might have an arm day and you might have a leg day. So I would still, in general, recommend that you take a day off between those 2, even though you don't technically have to, as long as you have absolutely no overlapping muscle groups. So for example, you theoretically could do arm day Monday, leg day Tuesday, arm day Wednesday. However, I would recommend having at least 1 day of rest in between those lifts. So arm day Monday, rest Tuesday, leg day Wednesday, rest Thursday, arm day Friday. This is going to allow your body to recover from the workout in a more holistic sense. Now, you can definitely cross-train or do other things on those off days. For example, maybe you go for a run on Tuesday and Thursday. But I would recommend against lifting back to back to back like that every single day. And finally, we need to make sure we have at least 1 proper full rest day a week. So for me, this usually ends up being one of the weekdays that I just don't have time to work out. Like it might be a Thursday or a Wednesday if I'm really busy at work. And so then I just don't work out at all that day in a concentrated way. I still am generally active, I'm up and walking around, I'm just not very intentionally going to the gym and lifting or like going for a run. Now it's important to have this whole day of rest to make sure, again, that your body is able to recover such that it's able to perform at its best when you're asking it to do these workouts. Okay, here are the actual items for in the gym. These are the fun ones. First, it could be helpful to, over the long term, alternate between strength training and hypertrophy training. Now, what is the difference between strength and hypertrophy? Strength training tends to build the strength of your muscles. Pretty self-explanatory. In a strength training regimen, you are usually performing between 1 and 5 repetitions for a given exercise, and you might do this from anywhere between 3 and 6 sets. Again, the goal of strength training is to really build the strength of those muscles. That means that the absolute most you could possibly lift for that strength training exercise. You're increasing that 1 rep maximum. Hypertrophy training, on the other hand, is really building the size and definition of your muscles. For hypertrophy training, you're usually going to be between 8 and 15, maybe even between 8 and 20 repetitions. And usually you'll be around 3 sets, although you could do more than 3 sets, but usually you're doing around 3 sets of a given exercise. Now, if you have one specific goal, like, I want to be able to deadlift 200 pounds, then that might be more of a strength exercise where you're just doing a strength regimen until you can deadlift those 200 pounds. However, if you don't necessarily have a clearly strength or clearly hypertrophy goal in mind, you might consider doing a regimen where you are alternating between the two over the long term. For example, my typical routine is about 2 months of strength training and 2 months of hypertrophy training. Now, in general, the cycle lasts about 4 months, and I might adjust how much strength versus hypertrophy I'm doing within those 4 months, but in general, I do have 4-month cycles where at some point I'm doing a long period of strength and a long period of hypertrophy. The final item in the gym category is to make sure that you're pushing yourself at the gym. What do I mean by this? I mean, it's very, very easy to go to the gym and to lift, 5 pounds, 10 pounds lighter than what you theoretically could, right? And it's a little bit easier. Maybe you break a sweat still, but maybe you're not like really pushing yourself where your muscles feel like they're going to give out on that last repetition. That feeling of, wow, my muscles might fail and I might not be able to make this lift. That is the feeling that is going to help you build your strength. And if you can push through that feeling, you should be feeling that for maybe the last 2, even 3 repetitions on your last set. And if you're able to push through like 1 or 2 of those and then fail on the 3rd, then that is where you're actually going to be doing the great work of making your muscles as strong and as large as they could be. Now, of course, a caveat here is you must be lifting safely and you must be having good form, because if you're not lifting safely and you're not having good form, there's absolutely no point to doing any of this, because you probably aren't actually working those muscles anyway, and you're probably at risk for injury, which would be really bad, because that would just be bad for your health in general, not to mention keep you out of the gym. So make sure that you're lifting safely and have appropriate form for the exercises you're doing, and then prioritize making sure you're pushing yourself as you're training those muscles. Okay, that is all I have for today. I hope that this was helpful and that it made sense. I also hope that it helps contribute to the dialogue of getting rid of toxic diet and exercise culture, but I also realize that that's a very complicated topic, and it's very personal and complicated for a lot of individuals. So if you have any thoughts on that, please let me know. Anyhow, that's all I've got, so I will see you all next time.